Hi everyone! Today I'd like to talk to you about a communication technique that's often used by mediators, but it's also something that you could try if you're in the middle of a conflict or if you just want to improve a relationship. And this technique is actually a special kind of listening because, believe it or not, listening is actually the best place to start if you want to communicate effectively. And why might that be? Being listened to and understood is a need that we all have. And until that need is met, until we've been heard, we're often going to be distracted or preoccupied. But once we've been heard and understood, we can relax a bit because the need has been met. And now, what are we more likely to do? Probably listen back. So this is particularly useful in a conflict situation where people often end up in a pattern where no one's really listening to anyone. But if we listen well, that can take us out of that communication trap that we can get into and put us into a place where we're both able to hear each other and to be heard. So how do we do this? I'm going to describe a four-part process known as looping. This is a term coined by Gary Friedman and Jack Himmelstein and described in their book, Challenging Conflict, Mediation Through Understanding. The first step is simply to listen with the goal of understanding. So we start with the intention of understanding what the other person is trying to tell us. It sounds simple, I know, but how often do we really do that, right? How often do we just listen without judging, without thinking about whether we agree or disagree, or what the other person should do, or how it relates to us? Probably not as often as we would like. So the first step is just listen until you have a good sense of what the other person is trying to express. It might be a need, an opinion, an emotion, why they're feeling the emotion. And then once you've heard and understood them, the second step is to let them know that you've understood them, right? That you've heard what they were trying to say. So as step two, we communicate our understanding. Now, a lot of times when we want to let someone know that we've heard them, we might just nod and say, I hear you. Yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from. But if that's all we do, how would either of us know that we really did understand? Right? We could be completely off base. So rather than just saying, yeah, I get it, I understand, we need to communicate our understanding in a way that lets them know that we got it. And one way to do that is to tell them, in your own words, what you understood them to have said. This is also known as reflecting, because you're reflecting like a mirror what you heard them say. But the in your own words part is key. If you just parrot back what they said to you using the exact same words, well, first it will sound really strange, but also, unless you put it in your own words, it's not clear that you actually did understand what they meant. You heard the words, yes, but sometimes words can be interpreted in different ways. Right? So it's not until you share what you think they were saying in a different way do you have the chance to show them that you did actually get it. Okay, so you do that. You reflect back to them what they shared with you. And now they know whether or not you actually understood them, but you still might not know. So before you assume that you got it right, you're going to want to check in with them to be sure. And you do that in step 3. You ask for confirmation. You just ask them if you got it right. You could say, is that what you meant? Or did I hear you right? Or just, right? This way, you're continuing to show that you are truly interested in understanding what they have to say. And it's a way of deepening your understanding. Because even if you did get it right, there might be more that they still want to share with you. And asking if you understood gives them room to share more. So step 4 would be receive their confirmation. If you didn't get it right or you missed something, here's where they're going to let you know, right? So they could say, well, actually what I meant was, and correct you. Or, yeah, basically, but, and then clarify things a bit. Or they might say, yeah, exactly, and then spontaneously tell you more about it. Now, if they do any of these things, they correct you, clarify, or just share more spontaneously, you're now back to the first step. You would now listen to this, whatever they're saying now, with the goal of understanding this. But what if the fourth step goes a little differently? What if they just say, that's right. Do you stop there? And now it's your turn to share your perspective? You could, but it's possible that they really do have more to say, and they'll open up a bit once it's clear that you're open to hearing more. Now, don't forget, a lot of people are not used to being heard and understood, especially in a conflict situation. So you might need to make more of an effort to show that you are truly interested in understanding. So what you could do now is bring them back to step one by simply asking for more. You could say, tell me more. Or ask a follow-up question like, well, what was that like for you? Or any number of open-ended questions that give the person room to share more with you. Another possibility would be to reflect something else about their experience, something you didn't already reflect. It could be another emotion you think they might have been feeling. You could say, I bet that was exciting or scary or whatever. Anything that you imagine was true for them based on what they said, even if they didn't specifically share that with you. The point is that you're keeping the focus on them and their experience rather than turning it back to you. So you would keep looping through these steps, ensuring that that person feels heard and understood until they've shared all that they're going to share. But now, what if they express an opinion or an emotion or desire, and you think that they're totally wrong or they're overreacting, or maybe they want something very different from what you want? Then what do you do? Well, if your goal is to understand, then simply accepting wherever they are at that moment is a big part of it. So you don't have to agree with them or fix the situation. The important part here is simply to accept that this is where they are and this is their experience. And the way you do that is simply to acknowledge it. Wow, it sounds like that was really frustrating for you. Or, it sounds like you'd really like us to spend Thanksgiving with your mother. Even if that person's mother drives you up a wall, what matters right now is that person's experience. So whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't change the nature of your response. You're simply understanding and accepting where they are and what they feel or want. You'd be amazed at how far understanding and accepting someone will get you. This is true whether your goal is to connect with someone you care about, to escape a conflict trap, or a little bit of both. So if you'd like to give this a try, please let me know how it goes. Thanks for listening and take care.